Our Clawspeakers, ELOQUENT in patch 8.0. Okay, you had me sold at Casualty Replenishment. Everything we're going to talk about is on top of this hero's main contribution to military society. In fact, it's practically a shame you have to build a building for Tiger Warriors themselves to recruit these at tier 3 minimum. Well, it's not much of a shame. Let's look at the rest of what they bring to truly take the hero's measure. Recruited nominally for 1600 gold and 275 upkeep, not small figures. On Ultra they stock in at 4548 health. Armor is 20, missile resistance the standard 15%, leadership of 65, considering this is a caster it's just fine. Speed 44 and charge speed 80 puts this in relatively elite territory. Melee attack starts at 42, which for a caster is remarkably decent, and is magical attack to make Eshin assassins cry. Attack interval 3.8 seconds is unusually brisk, splash rocket size medium means Jade Lancers on down, and max target damage of 5 is highly unusual for any caster hero in any roster. Melee defense 40 is decent without being broken. Weapon strength 325 is marginally better than usual, split base 225, and armor piercing 100, but will still welcome it. Charge bonus is a very decent 40, and mass is a burly 1000. Devastating Ambush is what we get on top of your basic Hidden Forest, providing a big speed, charge speed, and charge bonus burst, and Devastating Flanker when entering a charging animation. The catch is a 90-second cooldown between procs. So as long as you don't actually give the attack order on your intended target until you really mean it, the potential is there to double charge bonus 40 with, rather decent melee stats for a caster. Your average human or elf wizard will be torn to pieces, and that's kind of the point. For mounts, there are none, so we move on. The extra features on this model are mainly for buffing Tiger Warriors, even though they're all but essential for getting a beaten-up army back on its feet faster into more hostile territory. So, for pushing into Chaos Wastes, you need the help. You don't always get it. But, oh well, the faction already had some ways to address it. Clawspeakers just make the help much more reliable and mobile. So, Replenish Troops Hero. In addition to that, Planner has an unusual skill order, but, whatever. Cleanse Corruption is the map passive, Damage Walls, Wound, and Hinder Replenishment are the agent actions, Specialist reducing the gold cost thereof. Hinder Replenishment is something to use offensively with spare heroes, and is a friend of manual battle players, but Damage Walls is very spicy for a Tiger Warrior force without heavy artillery. These are good options to have. For the spell line, one more thing that they bring into the faction is access to the lores of Beast, Life, and Shadows. Eyes will light up at the middle one, but hey, the others aren't exactly garbage either. No, they really aren't. Happily, Evasion and Arcane Conduit are right there to help us. Evasion on this hero for the plus 10% speed bonus is a big deal. Wind Harmony and Range Discipline are 1-pip wonders, plus 10% spell resistance and missile resistance respectively, but if I don't say it, I'll start forgetting they exist. At rank 8, you can select the first pip in each of 3 sets, and the 2 skill sets, 1 pip for each of the skills, are mutually exclusive and lock the other sets out. For a DLC hero, that's completely fine. Note for multiplayer, these are paired to specific lores of magic. That's completely not the case in campaign. You can mix and match as you wish. Ferocity of Kamau first offers the hero melee attack plus 8 and melee defense plus 6, base weapon strength plus 20%, which, despite his limits, is the Tiger's share of his damage, and the passive of the same name, adding a new casting passive. After a spell, for 24 seconds, which is a long time, Tiger Warriors on your side have Unyielding Assault, which means nothing can reduce their melee attack, not even fatigue. Mantra of Righteousness for 1 more pip grants causes fear to the hero, as in he didn't have this before, immunity to psychology to all Tiger Warrior units, which they did not have before. The character counts as a Tiger Warrior unit for this, and the passive of the same name, a Battle Prayer with 40-second duration, 100-meter cast range, 35-meter radius, self and allies, but for Tiger Warrior units only. As I said, that counts for him too. The cooldown is 120 seconds because the effect is powerful. plus 24 melee attack, plus 25% to base weapon strength, which means warriors and stalkers get more benefit proportionally, and armor sundering, which not only is absolutely amazing for the base warriors, which do lots of base damage, and even more during this prayer, but is a great boost for peasant archers and long spearmen, keeping larger and thornier opponents under pressure. Door number 2, Mysticism of Kamau, jacks up the wind's reserves for that army by plus 10, and an extra plus 2 to winds over end turn to fill the extra jug capacity. And of course, the namesake casting passive, 24 seconds of magical attack for self and Tiger Warrior allies map-wide. That is to say, you don't need an alchemist to dish out magical attack like candy so long as you have Tiger Warrior units. This is how you dominate demonic foes. Arcane Hymn, the expansion option, gives cooldown minus 15% to Clawspeaker usable lores, a blanket minus 1 wins cost for any magic cast of those, which proportionally affects non-overcast better, and the Prayer of the Name, 120 second cooldown, 27 seconds duration, plus 130% wins recharge mid-battle, and 0.2 to the power reserve itself per second mid-battle. So this is your disaster battle, clawing for every scrap of magic, tryhard edition. And that's not a knock. Protection of Kamau, door number 3, gives ward save plus 5%, attrition suffered from chaos, minus 10% for Hero's Army. Note, because it will matter, this is chaos, not chaos wastes. It should be a separate resistance against a wide variety of chaos, corruption, attrition, as well as chaos wastes. And the casting passive, 24 seconds of Tiger Warrior units getting plus 10% physical resistance for more resilience, at least against mundane opponents. Mantra of Invigoration gives us Battle Healing Cap plus 10%, that's for Hero's Army, Battle Healing Cap plus 10%, Casualty Replenishment plus 5% for Hero's Army when this is a replenished hero, and the mantra itself, 120 second cooldown, 32 second duration, single target, 0.52% healing per 0.8 seconds tick, it seems to say. Anyway, that's strong, that's really strong, but your call whether to double up with a life caster for more coverage or not. In multiplayer you don't have a choice, but in campaign you do. The No More Exclusive Stuff personal line begins at rank 12. Divine Epiphany gives campaign movement range plus 10% for 1 pip and a lot of enlightenment. It gives nothing else. It doesn't need to. This is a Legendary Lord starting trait in some cases. It's a big boost. Hunter Mystic gives plus 10% health to the Clawspeaker himself, and fatigue buildup minus 15% for Tiger Warrior units in that army. The tech tree has an early tech with minus 10% that will stack with this, so this is balanced around that. Leader of Ceremonies slaps Control plus 4, Growth plus 8, and Corruption minus 4 on local province, which is very consequential for pushing into Chaos territory, and is good in general. Unrelenting Conduit gives miscast chance minus 10% and spell resistance plus 15% for all the Tiger Warrior units. Keep in mind, this is not exclusive. Every Clawspeaker can get it with enough rents. Litany of the Winds gives plus 5% spell intensity, which is just a little icing on the cake to give his spells more punch. So, now that we've reached this point, how do we use the Clawspeaker? First, what did we not see just now leading up to that capstone for spell intensity? We did not see Mastery of the Elemental Winds. The Clawspeaker does not appear to be part of that system whatsoever in a default state. And that's like the Tiger Warriors not being part of Harmony. Second, it is very important to emphasize this forcefully. All these buffs available for Tiger Warriors, some mutually exclusive, some obtainable for all Clawspeakers with time, are available for all Cathay factions, independent of Bashiva. Of course, you need the DLC to get this stuff, but you don't need to be playing Bashiva for any of this. So, if you want to use Tiger Warriors seriously as the other factions, use Clawspeakers. It's not like you really avoid them since you need the building anyway. Whatever their value to non-Tiger Warriors, and that is considerable, their value to Tiger Warriors is that much more. But even if you confine this to Special Forces applications, are you even kidding me? Tiger Warrior Stalkers backstabbing the Fireglaive line and doing armor sundering? Regulars not even needing an alchemist to hit daemonettes with magical attack with Forsaken damage profiles? It'll be a slaughter, in the good sense. No, this is strong. even if it's just the Clawspeaker alone. As I said at the start, you sold me a Casualty Replenishment, but this is a general-purpose anti-chaos, anti-corruption all-star. He's obviously essential for Bashiva, and for the others, when you're playing Miao Ying, I was favoring Yin techs, and therefore my Yang unit replenishment was lagging. They were the ones getting beat up and staying beat up. A Clawspeaker can do a lot to balance the scales and get your armies back on the Bastion walls quickly. Now, since these options are new, Lore of Life is so famous people use it for the healing, but also stay for the slows and area effect damage, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Beast has a lot of options for trickery and also has potential to do 40,000 points of damage just from sufficiently persistent Flock of Doom casting on blobs. I know they keep nerfing that, but it still adds up if you're playing a battle that's long enough. That lasts so long as you can actually kite. Shadows is easier to kite with because the passive speeds up your forces. Pit of Shades is an eternal winner, and the other top-end spell is Occam's Mind Razor, a very cute name of course. But even single cast, it's a massive plus 50% base and armor-piercing melee damage, meaning your transformed Dragon Lord suddenly does plus 50% more massive AP damage in melee. It's very strong potentially. Of course, so is Pit of Shades on a choke point. Keep in mind, Beasts has one of the more powerful area of effect hexes in the game, and that might not have been saving your beleaguered crossbow lines in the past, but Snarling Tiger Warriors? That's not a thumb on the scales. It's an Over-Tyrant's XXXXL boot. Options are good. This brings more options. It's going to take experimentation and effort to make them instinctive reactions because it's new to Cathay, but it's a great thing that's even for human-dominated armies. So make the most out of it, and keep in mind, this is the floor. It is not even counting White Tiger faction buffs. This is already pretty good. Also, one last thing, I only realized midway in the video, Transformation of Kadon summons a Celestial Lion here in Cathay. That is interesting, and also colorful. Take care and have fun speaking softly and carrying a big claw.